Hello? Are we okay? Huh. Well. That sucks. That took me a really long time to notice. God damn. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna start over, because I don't know what happened, but apparently my model broke and my OBS broke, and I don't know. I don't know. So hey! I'm gonna start the game again. Thankfully we were only like two levels in. Huh. That's a shame. I just happened to look over and I noticed on the VTuber program that the model wasn't moving. I look over at my desk and I notice, oh hey, the webcam is on its side and facing the wrong direction because my cat ran underneath and destroyed, well, not like destroyed the cabling, but was wreaking havoc with things under the desk. It's like, oh, better fix that. Look back over to OBS to make sure that's still working fine. It's not. It hasn't been for like 20 minutes. So I have no idea if I was even still streaming or not. So we're starting off real strong today. It's solid. Oh, well. Gotta do it one more time. But that's okay. So, hey dudes, what's going on? Mr. Hey Dude here. And despite some, I don't know if they'd even be technical difficulties to that extent, but despite some difficulties, we're doing this again. Or trying to do this again, I suppose. Lost Kingdoms. First of the two games. Let's go! I am Princess Lady instead of Princess Katya. We are the princess of the Alangian Kingdom. The Castle of Alange. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. We are one of people that is in possession of a powerful artifact known as a runestone. We are able to utilize the magic of the runestone to use things referred to as cards of power. Basically, think of them as like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but like in the what was it, like the Kaiba VR adventures type thing, almost like the Deckmaster arc or what have you. And now my controller is disconnected. Awesome. One issue to another. Let's go. Thankfully this is a quick fix. Just gotta refresh this. And that should do it. Okay. That one at least only took 2 seconds. Everything else was a few minutes. Oh dear. Yeah, that's a real shame too. That was going pretty well, I thought. I was being very knowledgeable and there wasn't a lot of dead air. I didn't do any real stuttering, stammering ums or uhs, and now I'm just like, fuck, dude, I don't know what happened. That is our runestone. That lets us use our magic. We'll see some action in a second. Skeletons, some of my favorite mob cards. Not particularly strong, but they have multiple different forms, and they're good to be used in pairs or small groups. Usually, I think pairs is probably optimal though. Every time something gets hit, it has a little bit of invincibility frames, myself included, so sometimes stacking creatures is not always the best method. That is not the button I meant to hit. I'm gonna be checking OBS so frequently now. I don't think I've ever had an issue quite like that, where not just one thing is broken, but everything is broken. Oh man. Pretty funny though. You can look at these to get a little bit of backstory on the runestones and the kingdoms, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to be going super lore heavy or interaction heavy, partly because I just spent 40 minutes doing that for apparently no reason. And also because I am quite familiar with it already. At least for the most part. There's some stuff I usually still get wrong or confused, because I have a lot of guess, I don't even know what you call it, but I confuse a lot of memories of this game with the sequel. But it is what it is. Actually getting 2 fairies there is kind of not the best thing. Fairies can be a useful card, especially for somebody like myself, because I take a lot of damage in this game. That is typically pretty unnecessary. The fairies thankfully restore, I think it's half of your health. But for the most part, I'm just going to be doubling them, I think. This whole section here is just a tutorial. Gerd, the old lady that we're talking to, has a bunch of rune stones on her. She knows quite a lot about the rune stones, the magic, the creatures, and the black fog, which is sort of like the main antagonist in a way. It's kind of like, if you've played Fable 3, how there's that fog that is just creeping over the land and corrupting a bunch of things, yada yada. It's kind of like that, but done sooner and probably done better. There's like 5 kingdoms in the land. There's a binding covenant between all 5 kingdoms that basically says like, hey, we'll do our thing, we'll let you do your thing, just don't bother us, we won't bother you. And just they are all in agreement of it. Each kingdom, I believe, has its own rune stone. There's 5 rune stones that are given by more or less a godlike entity, referred to as the Guardian. I don't know that there's any real significant difference between each of the rune stones, but there is different ones. I don't believe every character is able to use a rune stone in the lore of the game. I think it's only people who are more magically inclined, I guess you could say. These 2 tablets here are just just tutorial information that Gerd is going to shove down our throat in 3 seconds anyways. Literally everything she's about to say we would find on those 2 tablets. It's mostly just describing, hey, there's 4 different card types. Hey, there's 5 different attributes. And each attribute has one it's strong and weak to. For example, fire is strong against wood, which is the green cards, but is weak to water, which is the blue. But what I can do here, even though this card is weak, I can still get a lot of damage with it. And I missed the card, which is the big thing I wanted to hit the wagon. However, I can still do this, and it didn't work. Oh, I thought they would. Do I have to hit it multiple times? Okay. I typically just use something like the Birdman or the Lycanthrope to destroy that. So I wasn't actually sure if a smaller card could. But hey, that gives us access to this card now. So basically the 4 types of cards. There's Independent, which does what it sounds like. It just kind of walks around, does its own thing, attacks on its own. There's the weapon cards, which is what I've been using with the Lizard Men, the Dragon Knight. There is Transformation cards, which is like the Birdman and the Lycanthrope, where it'll actually replace me in combat for a minute, and usually does much higher damage at the cost of only being able to be used once. And then there is... shit. What was it? Weapon, Transformation, Independent, and... I don't know, something else. It's not very important. This here is a deck station, basically just a deck point. I can refill my health, I can edit my deck with cards that I find along the way, or cards that I've captured with my own cards. I'm not going to be doing too much card capturing, just because there's not a lot of things that I really want in the game. These hobgoblins, while they're not bad as enemy creatures, using them for myself, their fart gas attack actually has significantly reduced range, and they'll often try and melee swing something that they can't even hit in the first place. So it's just not worth really anything. Yeah, I cannot for the life of me remember what the 4th type was now. That's funny. Attributes, fire, water, earth, wood, neutral. Fire weak to water, strong against wood. Wood strong against earth. Earth strong against water. Water strong against fire. Neutral is, as it sounds, just neutral to everything. If I hold the left trigger and I use a card, I'll throw the card out, and I can use it to capture one of the creatures I'm going against, as long as it's not like a special or a boss creature. For example, the sand golem that we're about to encounter, I could not capture, but his hobgoblin follower dudes I could. But in a nice sort of touch, any of the boss creatures that you fight, you can actually get as a reward at the end of the level anyways. Reward basically works as you've got a rating out of 5 stars, 1 to 5. 1 and 2 stars you can pick 1 card. 3 and 4 stars you can pick 2. 5 stars you can pick 3 cards. You have a pool of 6 face down cards that are always the same every time that you can pick from. There we go. It's nice that those explode and deal some damage. The cards, while they're always the same every time, have different positions every time. So something that I have on this playthrough that's in, let's say, position 1, might have been in position 3 or 4 the first time I was trying to do this. Cards that you can find in chests or in objects like barrels or crates and things like that are the same every time. Nothing too fancy or special about those. There are cards that you can get as rewards, like the boss creatures, that you don't actually have regular access to until much later in the game, which is kind of nice. So there will be a situation or two where I might need a save state just to be able to get access to the card, because it could be quite useful, quite beneficial for me. Oh wow, he just ended himself. Nice. Gonna be getting a lot of experience for that. 157 just from crystals, beautiful. Or magic stones, excuse me. I'm not too worried about the sand golem just because he works as like a decoy and not a very good one. Although 3 hobgoblins is not good either. I would have preferred the 2 manticores, if anything. Basically the sand golem, he works as a decoy, he pulls aggro from the opposing monsters, but he moves too fast for the opposing monsters to keep up with him or hit him more often than not. And then as a result, my monsters can't catch up with those monsters, and it just ends up wasting time and not accomplishing anything. He does end up being a card that I can buy later on, but I'm really not concerned about it. Cards that you get in the game, you can either transform with enough experience or duplicate. Usually a duplication is more expensive than the first transformation, but there are some cards like the Dragon Knight where I will be duplicating quite often, just because they're really good to have, and also some types are a little bit more lackluster in regards to like their power or just their, I guess just even their usability, to be honest. Like water, for example, does not really have a whole lot of useful cards in my opinion, but the ones that are useful are extremely strong. I should be getting a mechanic around here. Where is it? Hello? There we go. Oh no, but it's not in the right cell! I needed it to be in the cell previous so I could destroy the barrels and get access to the chest. Gosh darn it. You guys can come over here. I can do this. So, oh, it was the summoned card. That doesn't seem right now. Because I don't think there is transformation in this one. I don't remember. I knew less than an hour ago, and now my brain is just like, information? What? We have... What? What do you mean? Come on. There we go. Thank you. So I wasn't able to access the chest before, and I can do this, so actually the Plague Rat kind of did it for me. But now as soon as the fight's over, I'll be able to... There we go. Just for the sake of getting back to where I was sooner, I'm gonna skip over some things that I tried to do the first time around. There's a valve over here on the other side of the map. There's a note on a table beside a chest and a soldier. The note just tells you how to work this valve in order to empty the fountain that's in the middle of the... oops, in the middle of the square. Basically just says, hey, remember we have to do regular maintenance on the fountain, regular cleaning. So turn the valve left once. Wait. Oh, does it have to be in the same interaction? It might have to be in the same interaction. It just says turn the valve left once and then right 3 times, and the fountain will drain. I think because I hit do nothing the first time. Yeah, there we go. It all has to be in the same menu. I didn't actually know that. But now the fountain, you'll see it has been drained. There's a card in there that I can get, which is the Maelstrom card. There are certain cards as well that work as traps, like the Mandragora and the Maelstrom. I know the Maelstrom, if you have 3 on the field at a time, apparently it does something different. I don't know what the different thing is, though, just because it's not one that I've used terribly often, so I'm not super familiar with it. It seems kind of lackluster from the use I have gotten, but it might just be that the main focus is to use it as a sort of combo. Okay. Then over here. Gosh darn it. Hey, buddy. Have a plant. Easy. So that table just on the right there, you can see the paper on the table. That would be what you normally would have to read in order to know how to properly use the valve. You can see on the minimap too, things that are red dots are things like chests. Well, they are chests. Things that I can open up, get a card from. Things that you can break, like the barrels in that, will actually not be identified on the map. So that's one way to just know at a quick glance whether or not it's worth using part of your weapon on or what have you. There will also be times where the map actually hints that there is a chest inside of something, like a box. We'll see that in just a little bit in a sewer level. And then the yellow objects are like story interactions, like main objectives in a sense. The green points are the deck points, which is just like a nice little refill and rest station in a sense. Up here we're going to meet Alexander. It feels like for the 3rd time now. I wonder why. The note on the box there you can't actually interact with until after the cutscene. Basically just tells you, hey, we came from this place. Hey, this is where we're going. Hey, we met, you know, this king. I'm not going to read it just because I'm not interested. I've read it several times. If you're curious, you can play the game yourself. Look through some of the lore. I am planning to hopefully make a video at some point as like a retro style review, where I actually go through a lot of the story elements of the game mechanics, the levels, things like that. I don't know how long that'll take. I think as of right now I'm about halfway through, but the editing is gonna be something. I've never really tried editing a video like especially in a longer format. I've had to do it a couple of times in like short little projects for college and things like that, but it was never anything terribly fancy or interesting. It was usually just, you know, here's a segment of a clip followed immediately by another segment of a clip, no transition or anything. So this is something I'm going to be putting a little bit more effort into. So Lord knows how that will be, but hopefully it'll be good. As long as at the end of the day I can look at it and be like, wow, I'm kind of glad I did that. That's the important thing. Or at least if like I came away from it having a little bit of fun with more skill, knowledge, things like that, I'd be okay then. Taking quite a bit of damage, but is what it is. I'm trying to be a little bit quick. I do kind of wish that there was a way to run from encounters in this game, because there can be a situation where you don't have any cards left, you get into an encounter and you just lose. You can abort that level, go back to the world map. Oh, this main trap's just getting done. Go back to the world map, restructure your deck and things that you've picked up and collected, and like the fairies, the cards, the chests, etc. Those will be saved, so you won't be able to just farm those, but things like the torches that had the gate locked and have to relight those, there are certain areas where there are consistent, or I guess almost like expected encounters. So if you step on this tile, you're going to get into a fight, basically. So there is a bit of a strategy where you could go through the level one time, get all the things, collect all the fairies, yada yada yada, and then go through it a second time, just going point to point and trying to clear the level. Sometimes that helps you get a better rating, sometimes it doesn't. Your rating is largely based off of how much damage you take, but sometimes things like monsters defeated does seem to impact. I don't know how or why. You're really not certain what the formula is, but... Are you under the desk again, Cat? I feel like the wire's being tugged. Okay, no, I'm just crazy. Cat's asleep. Excuse me. Sometimes the red fairies will have useful tips and foreshadow certain things. Other times they'll just be like, huh, I wonder why this is here. It's really a bit of a grab bag situation. The blue fairies, you can chase them and collect them. They can do one of four things, which is restore 10% of your health, restore your magic crystals, which is the resource at the top left, used for summoning and using all your cards. They can restore a card use, so if I say the man trap at the top there, if I throw that out and it dies, if I collect a fairy, I might be able to get that man trap back at full capacity. Oops. I did this fight really well the first time, being able to basically just bait out the melee attacks. I'm not expecting to do nearly that well this time, just because I'm less patient now. I was pretty stoked about that, only getting hit once by one of the close range, but now I'm just like... The magic crystals that get out of monsters is based on things like damage dealt, and if you're using something that they're weak to, but I don't really have a whole lot. Oh, I might have actually screwed myself too. You can see in the left side there, my deck says 2 out of 13. I can only pull 2 more cards, but I have 13 total that I can use. And the system in the first game is a little bit weird, where like if you discard a card, you can't use it anymore for that encounter, but as soon as you get into another encounter, it's back in the deck, basically. But in the second game, it's much better, where it's sort of just settled. I discard a card, it goes to the bottom of the deck, which is certainly much better in my opinion. But there we go. Got 5 stars that time. First time I only got 4. I do want the fire golem, so just gonna do a quick. I'm running out of states. Let's do this. Save over that one. That's fine. Oof. So as you can see, everything has its own spot. But then if I load the state, I can just do that. Technically that's cheating, but at the same time I'm trying to have a good user experience, you might call it, and getting access to more powerful cards early on that you can still get through virtue of playing the game is just something I'm not against. I don't know that there's any real purpose of talking to Alexander. I've tried up to like 30 or so fairies, and it doesn't seem to really have an impact on anything. I don't know. I wasn't sure if you'd tell me how many I have. I should have 6 though, I think. But if you go over to the apothecary and you talk to Gerd, however, she should have something interesting for me. Yes, I've heard an interesting story. Are you curious? Yes. Basically, anytime she says that, it's prompting you like, hey, I have another area you can go to. Do you want to? So now if we go to the map, a new area opens up, which is something that I didn't actually remember until earlier this week. But my memory of the games is very, I don't know if you could consider it like fragmented or blended or what the correct word might be, but I seem to have confused a lot of things from the first game and the second game and just kind of mashed them together, which is kind of interesting. But use that too, I guess. Not really what I want going into this, but them's the breaks. There is quite a few, I guess you could consider them like hidden or optional levels that you can find throughout the game, which is kind of nice. Just because it's a slightly different experience from what you might normally encounter. Like a lot of the creatures that you'd find here, like the killer bees, the orcs, you don't really see in the main game for the most part. And there's actually a bit in this level of petrified trees, and there's a red fairy that tells you, like, hey, did you know if you kill a cockatrice, the things that it's petrified will no longer be petrified, hinting at, like, hey, there's something that you can do in this level that if you seek it out, you would have access to greater treasures. Which we'll see in just a little bit. That was not what I meant to add again. I did. I really should just like rewind for things for this game, but there we go. Huge waste, but that's fine. It gets a decent amount of experience at least. So on this level, there's 8 beehives that we have to interact with. Upon interacting with the 8th beehive and killing the green bee that comes out of it, the level will end. There is an optional fight, as you can imagine, with it's actually 2 cockatrices that you encounter by destroying 3 eggs, and then basically plays like a little cutscene showing you where to go in order to fight them. I did the wrong thing. These queen bees are actually quite annoying to fight. Partly because they're so agile, and also just because they sort of attack spam you. You can get chain stunned by enemies in this game, and it is an absolute annoyance, but but especially opening up a fight and taking damage happens just so very frequently. It is quite a pain. I did the wrong thing again. Oh my goodness. It's funny, I don't usually mix up the buttons this much. Like, I might do it once every 7 or 8 fights, don't get me wrong, but not once every fight. Jesus, I've taken so much damage already. This is where I get bitten by my own hubris a little bit. I never typically take cards that restore life, I do remember that. Even though they're very useful, I tend to rely on deck points, which isn't the best idea in order to regain my health. The blue fairies aren't really worth chasing, in my opinion, if you're looking to restore, just because, again, it's 10% of your health if they get back. Just not anything. Come on. In the second game, you can actually find the targets, which is nice. Makes it a little bit easier to hit things like this, but holy shit. Still. Because I'm just going to end up burning a bunch of cards trying to hit them and doing no damage, but it is what it is. It's a situation, again, where if I were to back out of the level, I'd have to interact with every one of the 8 beehives again and kill the queen bees again, which isn't necessarily the worst thing ever. They do give a decent amount of experience being at 100 a pop, but it's just such a time-consuming process, I'd rather not. Like, if I really wanted to, I could technically grind something like the Dragon Knight. If I destroy 7 beehives and I kill 7 queen bees with the Dragon Knight, then that'd be 700 experience plus whatever I get with the magic stones. And I think it's 1500 to duplicate the card, or 1000 to do the first evolution of it. So technically 2 full runs, if I were to do them completely with Dragon Knights, would net me a new Dragon Knight, for example. Now, I can't do that right now, simply because, you know, having only 1 card or 2 uses, that's not even an option. But I could set it up, starting off with using the 2 uses, I'll get the final blow with each of them. And I could still get 200 experience per run, up until a point where I get multiple cards, but again, it's... Well, that is something that you could do, it's not something that I'm planning to do right now. There are areas later on where that does become much more viable, just because things like more difficult enemies appear more often, or in situations where you might just like encounter especially like a boss thing early on, and just quickly kill it, be able to abort and jump right back in. It's really not that necessary. There we go. Just kind of chugging along. Once I get to the top of this ladder, I should see a deck point again as well. Yeah, I really don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't know that I'm gonna be capturing many, if any, cards. Excuse me. Aside from, there is a Dragonoid coming out, which I really like the evolutions for. Dragonoids can turn into dragons, and dragons are very powerful summoned cards. So that means, again, you can only use them once in a level, however, they are extremely useful. The first one that you can get out of them, I believe, was the Zombie Dragon, which has an ability, if I'm not mistaken, to spew poison and obviously poison enemies and just do a lot of AoE damage, which is nice. But I think there's like 5 or 6 different dragons that you can get. Yeah, this, I don't know why I'm doing this. The Hobgoblin. Actually, I'm surprised that he even got 1 hit. 2 hits, wow. Look at him go. He poisoned him too. Oh my goodness. Oh, I thought that was gonna be 3 hits for a second. Holy crap, he got 3 hits. That is the most useful hobgoblin I've ever seen by far. He missed like 2 attacks out of 5, I think. Or maybe it was 7, I don't know. But he actually killed the thing. That's impressive. I'm just gonna start dumping the card because I'll more or less be able to just throw it out and then it will just die anyways. I could do that and not have to worry about it. Don't really have anything super good left for anything. Okay, never mind. That was pretty good. I know that your cards that you don't use can gain passive experience. I just don't know what it's based on. It might be that, like, the magic stones, everything gets experience from, but I'm not certain. Oh, this is the hint that I was referencing earlier. Cockatrice can turn anything into stone, but if it's defeated, the spell will be broken. Everybody turned into stone will come back to life. And in this case, it's any tree that is petrified just disappears. I think there was another red fairy somewhere. I don't remember that. I'm gonna leave that one up because I have to leave one beehive up to not end the level, as I mentioned earlier. The cockatrice fight actually has me nervous just because they're strong. They're strong, they can petrify me, they do a lot of damage, which I guess is the same thing as being strong. Don't change some of this. Okay. Yeah, I think it's like 21 damage a hit or something. So just 21 damage a hit, and the ability to not move for a couple of seconds against 2 enemies is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I think I missed a fairy. I don't know. The location of the last egg is kind of stupid, in my opinion. And we'll see why in just a second. But first I'm going to stop off at that deck point, refill my health. Oh, there it is. I knew it. I knew there was one I missed. Again, I'm not going to be trying too hard to get all of them, but I would like to if I can. But we'll see what happens. My deck for fighting 2 strong wood creatures is not looking good. And this is why the location of the last egg sucks. Because this is a very long hill and I move at like half speed. Thankfully this is a bit of a plateau area, but then I move at half speed. For no real purpose. It's not like there's anything up here aside from the last egg, but this is why I save it for last. And also the fact that right there is where the encounter is. So I can do the encounter, I can drop off, do the beehive, and then I'm done. But if I do the beehive, I lose 2 chests. So obviously not going to do that. Just throw these 2 away. Probably get rid of both of these. Well, not so much, but some rich. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Nice, let's go. I don't think I can capture this. I'm pretty sure I can't, because it's like a special enemy. Oh, I can! Oh, shit. Oh. Didn't know that. That's good to know. Because I will get one of those out of a chest in just a second, but I had no idea that you could actually sit there and farm them there if you really wanted. Because even though I've defeated the encounter in this, I guess, session of the level, I could still abort, boot it back up, and then do it again if I wanted. But now that I'm coming out with 2 of the cards, not just 1, oh me, oh my. That's kind of sick. I will say too, FromSoft keeps it consistent with their games, where the more you play them, the more you can discover. I've beaten this game I don't know how many times, and I'm still discovering new things when I play it, which is just the sign of good game design, you know? Oh, get out of here. See ya. And that is the level complete. 4-star. The killer bee, I don't think is anything particularly useful. I think it was just maybe like wood up or something like that, so I'm not gonna worry about it. You might be able to get it later, you might not, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't really care. And I think Gerd actually has another level for me, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to do one more first. Nope, she's got another one for me. And I did think it was really interesting too when I went back, again, about a week ago, and started playing these 2 games again. Because I started for the first few days just on Lost Kingdoms 1, and when I suppose rediscovered this next level that I'm gonna do, I was like, huh, weird. That sounds really familiar. Why does that sound so familiar? I don't understand. I'm not sure. And then when I booted up the sequel just yesterday, and just barely got through like the beginning section, I was like, oh my god, that's why it's familiar. It's the same level name. Because the sequel takes place technically across a couple of kingdoms, but you start off still in the same one. And this is like level 3 or something. And actually, I need to take a quick bathroom break, so I'll be right back. Excuse me. Alright, and we're back. Oh. Oh cool, didn't disconnect. Quick let the dogs out as well. I'm probably not going to go too much longer at this point, partly because I already did like another hour. So I'm behind where I would like to be. Just sad, but what can you do? But yeah, probably gonna go for maybe, I don't know, 2-3 more levels, we'll say. one of my dogs is looking to play, so I don't want to put her off too long. I'm starting to get a little bit hungry, so getting something to eat would be a good idea. And also just, you know, taking a break is not a bad thing either. So you got 2 spots left. Throw one of those on, and we'll throw him on again, I guess. I don't really have a lot of wood at the moment, which is unfortunate. Because I actually have to fight the, sandworm. I think it's 4 times. And you can go over the damage threshold before, like, I guess the segment of the encounter ends. But it doesn't keep the extra damage if you do that, which is a shame. So you can see that sort of sandstorm is obviously where the fight is. They go into the fight. And that's 250 health, which is just absurd. A lycanthrope will deal a decent amount of damage. Still being over 30, but then it allows me to get hit more or less for free. I think it's 50 increments. So if I throw this man trap behind it and then I run over here, bait and attack, it still gets hit from behind. Awesome. How useful. Hit him again, hit him again! Okay, that should be good. Yeah. I think it might be 5 times that you fight it. No, I think it's 4. Because I think the last fight it has 100. I could be mistaken. I don't know. The Gromtold Desert, I remember, is more from the second game than the first one. So this one, I get a lot of the details mixed up. Admittedly. Man, Scythe Beasts are just so terrible. They don't do any damage, they're really annoying to fight against. This feels like such a waste, though. Because I might still miss them both. Lycanthrope is not a good card to use on something that bounces around or moves around constantly, just because even though it does have a reasonably large hitbox, it does also take, I think, like a 2-second windup, which is not great. But yeah. So the red fairy that we got out of the chest, it sort of foreshadowed, like, hey, there's something you can find in here. Would you maybe want to kind of do that? And basically what that is referring to is that there's 4 switches in the level. 2 of them are just out in the open. 2 of them are actually hidden within cacti. So you have to destroy the cacti like it's a barrel or any sort of other thing, cactus, what have you, to be able to get access to the switches and then interact with them. Once you hit all 4 switches, there's a little cave that opens up. In the little cave, I don't remember, it's either 2 or 3 chests that you get. I just got 2 hits off. I actually survived. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Goodness. That should do it. Yep. Probably should have waited to see the animation start before I dumped that card, but that's okay. So like this one here, I don't think that was actually in range of that fight, I don't know. But this one here I have to get in a fight around, which is perfect timing for that to happen. And then I have to destroy it. Which think I'm probably gonna use the Dragonite. We'll see if I can pull the Scythe Beast. Come here. Come here. Follow me or... No? I guess not. Oh, there we go. This is with... Oh, but now the Mantrap's fighting. Damn it. Do you have the range? You do not. Don't suppose I can get you guys to destroy this for me, can I? Let's save me a card. This would be super cool. I'd rely more on the Scythe Beast if I could. He seems to be being stubborn. Okay, screw it. And that was the wrong button. Haha! I never learned. And of course that time he would have actually hit the stupid thing with that hit. That attack. God damn it. Oh. Can't win them all, right? Then we hit this button. Boop. And then there's one left. Just over in the far corner. Just confirming that there is 4 switches. That way you know when you have access to the treasure. Looks like there's 3 chests in there. Oh yeah, and this actually, I forgot. So this would basically be like your counter. So 1, 2, 3 switches. This one here is just showing up that there's one left that I need to hit. Once all those have lowered, the door just opens on itself, and I can go in. Oh, and that was a perfect example that Blue Fairy was actually a fight. That little shit. Carbuncle is an okay card for you to use. It does little damage, but it attacks very quickly. It's kind of annoying to go against. Because it's highly mobile. There you go. Chomp him. Bite him. Yeah. Get him. And then right here, if we get into a fight around this oasis, I can destroy that cactus and get the 4th switch. Oh wow, well that works. Not gonna say no to that. Hey buddy, can you be better than the other one and destroy this for me? Do you think? Maybe? No, you cannot. You suck. Feels like that worked better than it should have. Oh no! Yeah, it's fine. It's pretty much used up anyways at this point. So, quickly head over to the cave. Oh, I forgot to press the switch. Whoops. Silly me. There we go. Now the door's open, and this is again one of those situations where I actually have to zoom in just to be able to see. Because if I zoom out, wow, that's useful. Technically you can navigate by feel, like I know there's 2 chests lower than where I'm standing, so just looking for the exclamation, you can actually... Where's the last one? There it is. You can navigate in this specific sort of circumstance, but doesn't really leave you much. I'm pretty sure there was 2... fairies together somewhere on this level. It might have been a different one. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. So this should be the second to last fight, I believe. I don't know what this man trap's even going to hit, but we'll try. Oh, maybe. Maybe? Hello? Friend? Oh, I think he got stuck on the cactus stub and couldn't turn around. That's sad. Hopefully this should give me enough time to avoid this hit. Yeah. Wait, nope. Never mind. God damn it. Can we not? Please. I don't want to use the fairy because I'm so close to a deck point like this. I think. He only needs 20 damage. Use carbon. Can I throw this on the other side? I want to reach. Oh, no. No, if I just sit. No, damn it. This thing dies really fast too. Oh. Not even when it's getting hit is what I was gonna say. Then it got hit. There he goes down. You see he's at 92 health now. He's gonna have 100 the next time I see him. Which is unfortunate. I have 10. There should be a deck point over here. Yes. With a chest that I walk past. That's funny. Nothing particularly good for fighting the sandworm. Oh well. Beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Oh yeah, there's a card underneath the arch over there too that I forgot about. Man, I'm just missing all sorts of stuff here. Get him, Skelebro, get him! Mess him up! Will he get him? Will he get him? Come on! Oh. Sad. That was one of the most aggressive skeletons I've seen. Normally they like to do like a sidestep hop quite a bit. Or they'll do like the jumping attack, which causes them to miss because by the time they land, in a lot of cases, the thing is already moved, but... Oh, there's another one right here. I forgot about it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So nice he said it thrice. I can't recall. There might be something over here. The funny thing about the Scythe Beasts is even though they're, I guess you could say, super effective against the Earth creatures, they still only do like fucking 3 damage. I don't know what their purpose is supposed to be, but for me it's just to laugh at. Like, I'll show you. I think I've got enough space for one more card. I do, okay. We'll throw on both of the Scythe Beasts just for fucking jokes. And then if I encounter one of them in the deck, I'll show you. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Alright, so wood is super effective against earth, right? So you would think, hey, this must be pretty good, right? I just sat on it. But then, 7 damage. I get like 5 uses, which is good, I guess. Except I missed. But like, goddamn, dude, I'd much rather just have like a higher hit at lower uses. Dude, that shit sucks. It's just bad. Like, even the thing that's neutral damage against it does 10. That which is weak against it does 7. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I I might actually die here because I can't fucking move. One annoying thing too is the more wounded you get, the slower you move, and now I'm in a situation where some of the only things I have are just tossed. Fuck. Oh, there it is. I couldn't quite see because of the pillar there. Some of the only things I had either required me to get very uncomfortably close or just wouldn't be very optimal for the situation, like the carbuncle, for example. Carbuncle can be great, but the way it works is it more or less does, it like circles around you. So I have to be within a certain distance even still to make use out of that. So in a situation against something that's very large, has two very large hitboxes, and can potentially chain stun me, especially when I'm moving slower, not a great situation, but, you know, it is what it is. So now I have to fight this thing 4 times again. Damn shame. But I kind of did that to myself, to be fair. You see if we can start off about the same. A lycanthrope. Hopefully 2 quick hits with the man trap. Please don't hit me. Thank goodness. That is something a little bit annoying I find about the lycanthrope in particular as well. Against things that I know it's not going to kill, more often than not, if I use it, I just end up taking damage because the animation from when the monster disappears versus when I'm able to move again is so long, it's almost hard not to get hit by something. Which just kind of sucks, but, you know. If you do get the hit off and it does kill, then it's awesome. But if you're an idiot like me and you tend to miss, or you tend to basically bend over in situations, let's see if this is better. Because I think the Birdman isn't even that bad. Okay, that's about the same. But there we go. I was close enough that I could just move up and do fine. Come on, man trap. Bite him in the butt. I thought about throwing out one skeleton to aid him, but I didn't think it'd make a huge difference, and there's a good chance that they'd actually stack attacks, meaning one of them wouldn't go through because of the invincibility frames. But, oh hey, I forgot to pick up this card. I guess that's a good thing at least. Sand beetles are okay. I prefer the land sharks by far, but their AI is a little bit derpy at times. It does tend to wander more than it attacks. Especially depending on the size of the arena. Like if you're in just like a small room, for example, or if there's a lot of objects or obstacles in the way, it's really not that great. If you have like a large open space, then it's not too bad. It's mostly the turning that it does that seems to be really good in this. I don't think he's gonna get the last of it. Oh, he did! Let's go! Literally just enough time. He got the hit and was like, well, my job's done. See ya! I don't know why my dog is barking outside. It's very interesting. We have to go check it out. This won't take very long, so after I kill this one, I'll take a look. And I got it. There we go. Swing. Get him! Oh. That was close. Uh-oh. I wonder if this counts as only one monster slayer. That would make sense, right? Even though you fight it several times. I didn't really pay attention to any of the results screens when we were going through. It looks like probably none. I do actually want the sandworm. I really don't care about anything else in this area, in this card pool. But I do want the sandworm. Which means I might have to do this 6 times. Actually, no, that's not true, because obviously... Since it shows me every time, now I know it's this one. Aha! Yeah, sand beetles are okay cards. Not something I use terribly often. Not something I'm going to worry really at all about. But I will be right back, as I'm going to check on my dogs now. Alright. Dogs is doing fine. They're back inside. I think somebody across the street was just doing something with their car or something, so they wanted to know what was going on. Just taking interest, a little bit of curiosity with the dogs. Right. There's a good chance that I'm going to be checking and rechecking a lot of cards just because I don't commit a lot of the information to memory, unfortunately. How close is he? Pretty close. Oh, excuse me. In both games, there's a lot of situations, like we saw with the Lycanthrope and the Birdman, where a card can transform between more or less like 2 stages almost freely. So the Birdman can transform into the Lycanthrope, Lycanthrope can transform into the Birdman, but then they also have a couple of sort of branching paths as well. In the second game, it's more noticeable, I think, because you have things like the Lizard Man, the Red Lizard Man, the Basilisk, which is the blue water one, and then I can't remember if the green one has a certain name. Yeah, I can't remember, but there's a green one too, and they all just can go between each other basically, as well as I think Dragonoid. I'm pretty sure it's mostly Earth, from what I remember. So actually most of those cards are gonna kept, but that's fine. Oh, when did I get the Banshee? Oh, probably from Alexander. Banshee's a really strong card. It's sort of like Dragon Knight, but wood. Might as well. I don't need 2 of those, actually. That could be useful. That could be useful. What do I have? 4 left. I don't think I've mentioned it, but you can only have a deck of 30 cards at a time. From what I remember in this level, pretty much every encounter is almost straight Earth. There's also another card. I think I'll do this card. If not this one, then one not too much further in the level. Yeah, it doesn't look like this one. Okay. Fucking 8 damage on a skeleton, 7 on the sandworm. Jesus Christ. I still almost have to use the entire card just to kill it. Absolutely insane. This Caterpoker I find is really good, but is very slow, and kind of rolls around too much like that. Sort of like how the skeletons have a tendency to just hop side to side a little bit too frequently. The Caterpoker just rolls around a little bit too frequently, but hey, we got the job done. Most of these gravestones just have the same text, except for special ones like these objective ones. These objective ones are just telling you, with the exception of one of them, what the combination to a puzzle is coming up. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But I will still interact with the, I guess, the optional one, just because you do get a card from it, although you do have to fight as a result. But that's fine. Boom, bitch. Get out the way. So good. One of the things that I do really like about this game is pretty much every card can be useful, and in a lot of cases every card is useful, but when they're not, oh my god, it's painful. Another skeleton. Need to get into a fight around here, please. Thank you. As we can see under that wagon. I'm pretty sure this will destroy it still, too. It will not. I made a mistake. Whoops. Whoopsie. Might as well just use that. That's fine. Can I pull you just a little bit closer, though? Hit 2 things at the same time, maybe? Right, that's a ghoul. I forgot the ghouls were in here. Oh, that works. Thank you. How lovely. So, hey, buddies, so if you want to just do this one. That should be good enough. Thankfully, the swing is pretty wide. Yeah. I might capture one of the ghouls. I don't know. The ghouls are fairly useful, because I think not only do they do fair damage, but they can also paralyze on hit. Is this? No, I think this was the... Camo. That's pretty good. That was the wrong thing again. God damn it. And I only got 1 card back. I think the Sea Monk can do up to 4. We'll just take some damage for this. I think it can do up to 4 cards, but it's random chance as far as I know. Water in this game does actually have a mechanic in that you just move slower in it, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's up here, I think, is the optional one. Yeah. Each of these typically talks about, like, a king and what they were known for. This one is a cursed king that just, like, killed people to capture it. I should think fast. I think I'm probably okay. The Wraith is scary if I let it stay off screen. Should be able to kill both of these. I'm sure that'll do enough. Yeah. So strong. Hello, friend. Goodbye. It's all about the money, money, money. All about the ka-ching, ka-ching. Hey, look at that. I gotta like and throw it back. Let's go. The Treant card I got isn't terribly useful. I think that one's defense power up. It's okay, but it's like whatever. A lot of the power-up cards I don't... Oh, these are the fairies I was thinking of on the desert. Okay. A lot of the power-up cards can be useful, but I just don't make use of them. For the most part, it's like attribute up, or something like defense up, or speed. But... yeah. It's not to say, again, I haven't used them either, but... just very, very rare situations. Because in a lot of cases, too, if I'm using something that I know is going to be particularly effective, a lot of the time it does just kill anyways. So having something else that's just going to make it kill harder, like, I don't know, overkill, I guess, is really not needed. Kind of a waste for that, because that doesn't do a whole lot for me, but I was hoping it would kill the Venus Spider and get a little bit of experience with that. Got it probably finish though. You might even hit the road. Yeah. Easy. Easy, dude. Heal up, get a few more cards. The Wraith is really good, but its aim is kind of weird and I never get it right. Alright, this grave here basically just tells you that, hey, you have to put things in order to not get attacked. But it's gold, green, white, red. It's the same every time. Again, you'd find out by the 4 special yellow gravestones throughout the level. The 5th one, again, being a trap. And boss fight. I think this might be good. I can never remember. I think... is it Necromancer first and then a Lich? I cannot recall. Uh-oh. Oh, that can go through objects. Okay, I didn't know that. You time out at some point, right? No? Okay. Jesus Christ, that just takes forever. I want to hit both the skeletons, and if I can hit him at the same time, that'd be cool. But... let's see. This might do if he doesn't move. But he moved immediately. No, I still hit him though! Get fucked, nerd! Oh. He didn't like that. He didn't appreciate that. I understand why. Oh god. I was really hoping to paralyze him first. God damn it. Have to be careful. I'm just gonna chuck out a bunch of skeletons and hope they figure something out. I think they die in 2 hits though. Oh, but look at them stacking attacks. That's beautiful. Oh, except for the time where all three of them did a simultaneous swing and hit once. But they were rotating so perfectly for a second. That was awesome. I don't think this will do enough damage, but the lycanthrope probably would have. Yeah. I would like to get the last hit with the skeletons, just because this dude's worth quite a bit, but yeah. I was gonna say, I don't see that happening, especially since I knew the cockatrice. I think an attack I can hit maybe up to 3 times. I don't quite remember. Yeah, using Necromancer now, he can transform into a lich, that's right. That was probably like 2 stars. What? Okay. I mean, I won't complain, it's more free shit, but it's one of those things where it just seems so varied. So I want to do 2, 3, 4. Actually, 2, 4, 5. I don't really want any more wraiths. 2 is plenty. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the Grail Sewer, or sorry, the Shale Passage, and then probably call it there, because I'm starting to get really hungry too. My eating's been weird the last couple of days, so I need to work on eating more again. I don't know why, but it's just taking an odd dip. Quite strange. Oh yeah, see, here the Dragon Knight can turn into Ghost Armor. Ooh. Ghost Armor's really good too. And then I think there's like a red Ghost Armor. I don't quite remember. Oh, he needs 17 experience. Come on, dude. Come on, man. Oh wait, this is just duplicate, right? Oh well. I don't think I've got enough fairies for another card, but I might as well check. Good old Alexander. I'll probably call him Jarvie at some point, just because that's the dude in the second one. Who I think has the same outfit. Red fairies, every time you turn in, like you have 10 turned in, they'll turn in. Oh, shit. I didn't change my deck. Every time you have 10 turned in, they'll turn into one of the bigger ones that was at the bottom left there. They're kind of cute. Look a little bit doofy, but... So from what I remember, it's fire for the flare spawns, earth for the dragonoids, water for the water hoppers. Aptly named. So I then need wood for the dragonoids. And I do want to catch most of them. I need water for the flare spawns. Man, I don't have a lot of water cards. Jesus. They are pretty hard to come by, though, to be fair. And then what was the other thing? Water. So I need earth. I don't know what I want to do. That should be fine. But yeah, I will be trying to catch the dragonoids. I think there's like 3 or 4 you can come across, typically. Just because as a weapon card, they can attack twice, or like they have 2 hits in a single use. I think you can use them 3 times. They're just really good. These vats, weird as they are, you have to interact with all of them. I think there's 5 to then trigger an encounter, similarly to how the cockatrice worked. And then once you complete that encounter, you actually get a key to the exit. So you have to go up one side of the map and then down, back up the other. Now one's just explaining to you that these switches basically work on a timer. You hit the switch, the gate is open for X amount of time, you gotta kind of haul ass in order to get through it. Given that it's a sewer, it's mostly water, you only have the edges that you can walk on without being slowed down. There's our first Dragonoid. That did not hit what I wanted. Cool. That's awesome. This shouldn't. Well, now he's not in range. I was gonna say the ghoul shouldn't kill him, I don't think, but. And I didn't hit him. Nice. Good job. No! I don't want you to whip me harder, Daddy. No! Not okay. And I missed. Oh, look at that. Survived on 1. Holy shit. So I hold left trigger, throw, and not capture. So when I come up to a deck point later on in the level, I'll actually be able to use the deck point and add that Dragonoid to my deck, which is very nice. And if you capture a card, what you used to capture with will actually gain the experience as if it was like a final hit too, which is kind of nice. I do want to get into a fight here as well. Oh, perfect. Good timing. Because... was it? It didn't destroy the one directly in front of me, huh? That's probably where the fucking card is, too. God damn it. Oh, there we go, yeah. For a second I thought I completely missed, but the fog kind of spread out a bit, just enough to hit at the end. Giant crab! Giant crab's pretty good. It is a single use, unfortunately, but it does spray a foam kind of similarly to the cockatrice, which covers a wide area and has a chance to petrify, which is very nice. Beautiful, look at that. OP. I think it's this section here. It might not be this one, it might be one a little bit further up. But you actually have a chance to encounter a basilisk, which is the blue lizard man. In, I guess, the fashion of a basilisk, it has a chance again to petrify on hit. Which is quite nice, but it's the fact that it's quite a bit of a rare card that you can get early on here that makes it nice to have. But oh no, I didn't think that would kill. It's sad. It's so sad face. Now, here's what it is. I think there's 2 more fairies on this level. 1 for sure, but there might be 2. But yeah, as long as you hit the switch, and when the gate starts moving, you just run on the sides. You have more than enough time. There's actually 2 areas the first switch opens. The second area has access to, I believe it's 2 treasure chests. Kind of nice, but I think in this one, the center where you just kind of unburrows from the ground and hits everything. Yeah. One of the changes between summon cards in the first game versus the sequel is that summon cards actually have two different abilities, and you get to choose between which you want to use every time. So something like the Sandworm, when we encountered it as an opposing creature, it had two attacks. One where it did like a thrust forward, and then one where it did like a sand spray. The sand spray, as well as the sort of unburrowing thing that it does, are the two attacks that you'd have access to in the sequel. There are some things where it's like you can have a ranged high damage attack, or like, what the fuck is it doing? It's one of those reasons why I love this game, because like how, why, and what the fuck. He's just gonna do that until he times out too. Yeah, huh. But yeah, something like, what is it? What's it called? I can't quite remember, but they're called like Hagans. They're basically like ogres or trolls in the second game, where one of them you can throw an axe it has just like a boomerang, so it only has like a straightforward sort of hitbox. Or you have something that's referred to as like Mad Storm, where he'll just attack rapidly in front of himself, creating like a localized tornado that just stays in place, and that'll deal damage multiple times for its duration, which is kind of sick, because more often than not, if you line things up close enough, that's the much better alternative. Like, that's the much better option, which is interesting, but it's not even a creature in this game as far as I can recall. Oh yeah, I should have renamed my deck. Oh yeah, there was two, because there was this one here, and then there's another one further up. And you can see on the map in the top right there, inside this box is a red dot, which means inside that box is a chest. So I gotta destroy the chest, and the easiest way to do that is actually to interact with this. Excuse me. Because that's part of the cell. So it's a situation again where I could get one of the things to destroy it. I'm just gonna do it myself. Oh. No! Oh god, he's chain stunning me, and I'm paralyzed. Oh no. Oh no. That was really bad for a second. I don't suppose you can just hit him one time. Or not. Might have to hit him again, actually. Or not. No, you can just hang out, it's fine. Thank you! Beautiful. I don't know what I'm up to at this point. I think I might have... Jesus. Starting to hear my stomach go. The running bird, as you can imagine probably, that's the thing that I mentioned earlier, gives you a speed increase, which can be useful again, just not necessarily in a lot of situations. Oh yeah, this is the area where you can actually encounter a basilisk. Line you guys up. You're a little bit too far. The crowd can't get between the two piles of rubble. Excuse me. The two piles of rubble here. I don't think this will kill the Dragonoid, but I don't know how many times it's gonna hit him. Oh yeah, that's fine. That is fine. Because this should not kill you. Just kidding. Didn't think it would, but it did. Oh. About halfway through the level. So many skeletons, Jesus. I forget, or at least I tend to forget, just how many skeletons and hobgoblins the game throws at you. Like, here, have some fodder. The skeletons I'm all for because they are far more useful, but... Sounds like my neighbor's, like, hanging something again. Which is never a good sign, because he tends to do things like hang his canoe on our fence, or hang his canoe on our trees, or hang his canoe on our shit. His tools and all that stuff. Which is just fantastic. I love it. It's like, hey buddy, that's not your property. Do you mind getting it off ours? Thanks, dickhead. Just happens so frequently, it's just like he's trying to fucking start something. But, oh, I'll tell you, he's fucking 20 years sober or whatever, but makes a very fine point never to say whatever his issue used to be. But it seems like there's been some long-term damage that's taken effect. I don't know why the mind flare seems to have frozen. I've never seen that before. These are just hanging out. Oh, there we go. I was just very confused for a minute. But yeah, I'm almost positive that if I fucking look out my window and I don't see him, he's probably trying to like hang something on our stupid fence again. Which is lovely. One of the really nice things about this level design, though, is even though we've gone quite a circuitous path, if I just go right here, I'm right by that switch at the beginning, which is awesome. That's like Skyrim dungeon stuff. But you can see there's 2 gates that have opened, so I just have to run as fast as I can to get to the second one, which wasn't that much further up from the first, or else I get kind of locked out of it. If you get into a fight while these gates are moving, it doesn't actually stop time. So you do want to get through any fights while they're open as quick as possible, but not a huge problem. There's another Dragonoid, and here's the last red fairy for the level. Here's the second door. As you can see, nothing like particularly outstanding. You get a carbuncle, which is kind of meh, and your second maelstrom card, and then this is the end of the level right here. Ta-da! What is that, like 3 stars? 5 stars still. I don't know how. That does not make sense to me, because I took like 200 damage. You know, I'm having a thought. I wonder if maybe your health at the end is dependent. It might not necessarily be damage taken, but it might be how much health you have. That would be interesting. Is there anything in this level that I want? I think I can get Mind Flare, which is okay. Dragonoid, which I would prefer to have another of. And then I think you can get like the Water Hopper or something. Actually, no, I think you can get Flare Spawn. Let's see. I'd probably do 3, 4, 5. Because another giant crab would be useful. I don't need too many, but another giant crab would be useful. I won't turn down another Dragonoid. And then the Mind Flare can be useful as well, but it's more of a later game turd. Because as you can see, it costs 18 to use. Holy shit, dude. I don't remember what the maximum ends up being for your resource pool. I seem to recall 20, but it might be as high as 30. I don't remember. But yeah, later on that'll be more viable. Looks like the inventory changed again. I'm just going to see if there's anything that I can transform into anything interesting or useful. Right. The mummy is one of those cards again where you can turn like the mummy into the skeleton, or I think it's the ghoul and vice versa. Because if I look at the ghoul, there's the mummy. So, it's kind of eh. I can duplicate the Dragon Knight now, which is good. It's about damn time. I'll also duplicate the Sea Monk just to be able to sell it. Just really don't need too many Sea Monks. Now, Sea Monkeys, though, that's a different story. You can never have too many Sea Monkeys. Oh, come on. There we go. Third time's the charm. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Oh yeah, it has been a full hour, actually, since I last checked the time, I think, so that's pretty good. Went from 45 to about an hour and 42-ish. And that's not including the 40 minutes that I wasted because all my shit broke. Unfortunate, but things happen. We still managed to make a decent amount of progress. I'm pretty sure it's as soon as I get through the Castle Grail, if I go back and I talk to Gurge, you'll have another area for me somewhere over here. And I think that one's actually quite difficult. I think it's a snowy area where you have to fight a bunch of abominations, or abominable snowmen, rather. But one thing I will do just before I leave, because I forgot to do this earlier, you gotta maintain the brand, you know? It's all about that brand awareness, recognition, yada yada. So we do a good old hey dude with just enough space. And now in the bottom right it'll say hey dude just because that's the name of my deck, and I love that. But anyways, as always, I'm going to say thank you for coming out, and until next time, take it easy.